Prophetess, hello. Thank you for joining. Okay, so now we're live on YouTube as well. So I'm so excited. Thank you, Rose, for joining us. Oh my goodness. So this is the Rosa and Marcia show, and today Marcia is traveling, so she will not be joining me. Mariela Franca, oh my God, hello, welcome. So today I'm so excited for my show. We do every Monday at 12 noon. We talk about leadership, and we talk about careers, and we talk about spiritual principles and the Lord and how God is guiding us through being leaders in the world and society that we live in today. No matter what we do in our lives, God is always using us in a powerful way. And no matter where we're at in our lives, we are leading. We are always in a position of leadership when we allow God to use us. So we also have an Instagram account and a Facebook account. So follow us on there and watch our previous shows on our YouTube channel. And you'll be able to learn a lot, because we've done a lot of, and we've gone through a lot, our life experiences. We're mothers. I'm single, but I was married at one point. So we share our life experiences from those perspectives of being wives, being single, being teachers in a university level. Marcia was a lawyer, and now she's doing real estate and marketing. Myself, I am teaching, and I'm also doing a lot of work with women and in the beauty industry. So I'm so excited because I want to share a lot of these experiences with you. And so today I am so privileged. I'm so excited to have a guest join me. This person that is joining me, she's a doctor. She's a faculty member for Indiana Wesleyan University. She's a professor over there, and let me just read her bio, because it's so amazing. She is such an amazing woman, and I'm so excited to. I'm waiting for her call, because she's right now. She happens to be in Florida visiting, so she's with family, so she's getting herself ready. But she's from Indiana Wesleyan University. And she's an assistant professor of counseling at Indiana. She earned her PhD in marriage and family therapy from Texas Tech University. She also earned her master's in rehabilitation and mental health counseling and her bachelor's in psychology from the University of South Florida. So her name is Dr. Denise Williams. So I'm waiting for her to join us live on my YouTube. And I'm so excited that you can join us today as well, because you'll get to hear her talk about her journey. The way I got to know her is that we were colleagues at the university, and we worked together, and she was young, and she was doing her bachelor's. We were both doing our bachelor's together. And God just joined our hearts together. And I would mentor her and I would teach her. And I saw her grow. I mean, not just spiritually, but professionally in her personal life and in her career. And as she has grown, God has taken her from new levels, where now, she's a mom and she has this amazing career in Indiana, and she has touched many lives, and to the point where now I call her. And whenever I need some like heart-to-heart talk as a woman, and to help me go through my situations and my transitions in life, I call her up. Where at one point I was mentoring her and helping her through her stages in life and her growth professionally. Now I call her up and I'm like, Denise, what should I be doing? Where should I go? Where's God taking me? And this is what I'm seeing the Lord is doing in my life. What do you think? What do you see? And she has been such a powerful, powerful person in my life. Her wisdom, the joy that God is given her, and the knowledge and the experience is amazing. So I'm going to give her a few more minutes. Like I said, she's with her baby and with her family. So I know that she's, getting on in a few minutes. But today we definitely want to talk about integrating your faith into your career. So how many of us know that it's always wondering, okay, God, is what I'm doing, is my career really what you want me to do and what you've called me to do? Is it really what, am I really fulfilling my purpose in you? And I want to say hi to Shirley Kaiser. Thank you for joining us, Shirley. This is the Rosa and Marcia show, where we talk about, today we're talking about integrating your faith with your career. And I'm waiting for one of my guests to come on, Dr. Denise Williams, where I'm going to interview her. And we're going to talk a little bit about how she's integrated her faith into her career. And personally, I just feel that it's not always easy to integrate your faith into your career, and you wonder, am I really doing what God is calling me to do? Give me 1 second, everybody. She's calling me on the phone. Yes, Denise?
Sorry, no, I'm so sorry. No, I didn't know if you were sending me something because I was like kept looking and I was like calling and I didn't know if I was missing something. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Call the link. Click on the link. I'm waiting for you.
What's that?
Did you get the link in the email?
So there's a new link then?
Yeah, I had to send a new link. Sorry guys for technical, a little bit delay here. Were you able to get it or no? Not yet. Okay, I'm sending it to you right now. Okay. Nicola30@gmail, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, give me 1 second. I'm inviting you right now. Okay. I thought it went through, but I guess it didn't go through. There it is. All right, you should be getting an invite any second.
Okay.
All right, everybody. So you'll be coming on soon. I'm so excited. Okay. All right. I'm going to go back on Instagram Live. Hello, everybody. I'm back. Sorry for the pause, but I'm back because I'm bringing on Denise Williams. She's calling me. I'm so excited. Hi, Denise.
How are you doing?
Good, good. So I'm going to put you the camera so that my Instagram people can see you. I'm so excited. Okay. Oh, let me see. There we go. Say hi.
Awesome. No, thank you so much for having me.
No, I'm so excited. Thank you for joining my show. I was telling my audience about what a great person you are, our background, how we met and who we are, and how we were colleagues at one point, and how I was working with you and mentoring you. And then as I saw your career grow and progress, it was like you became a superstar. You've grown so much professionally, and how I call you now for advice. And I call you to my journey because you have been such an inspiration, and I'm so grateful for you. So, and
Likewise.
Yes, no, I'm so happy. So if you could tell me a little bit about your journey now that you're in this, you're a faculty member at Indiana Wesleyan University, and you can tell me a little bit more about your journey now and how you are writing this paper about integrating your faith with your career.
No, it's been an incredible journey. So my family and I, we immigrated from the Trinidad and Tobago, which is a Caribbean island, when I was 4 years old. And pretty much, growing up, really we struggle with a lot of different components in terms of issues of family violence, even alcoholism, and even poverty, really just struggling with, where we were going to live. And I remember as a young child just really being confused about what this meant. But I definitely had a mom who was very faithful to God and really encouraged us that in spite of what was going on, for us to attend church and also to really just develop a faith in Christ overall. And so it was such a kind of that foundation for my life later on. And I didn't know it at the time at all. And so as I got older, I think when my process of kind of coming to be a believer in Christ has really just been one that as a young age, really just not knowing what it meant to really be a a follower of Christ and not knowing exactly what it meant to have a relationship with God, but really just kind of feeling connected to God through my mom or my parents. And so as I got older and I had my own trials and tribulations as an adult, I had to lean on something greater than myself. I had to find someone that really could be that source of dependency that would really strengthen me. And so that was God for me. And so it really wasn't until I think I was like mid 20s or so that I really developed a different relationship that I've had. Instead of seeing God as more of a rule God or, a duty God. So what I mean by that is, my understanding up until my 20s was more God sees us as what we need to do instead of we just want to do what's best for God. We want to have that relationship with Him, and as we draw closer to Him, He kind of transforms us in that relationship process. And so, along my journey, I saw it as more of just God's grace and His mercy that He's shown to me, and seeing how He's been with me in different seasons of my life. And so, as my relationship with Him progressed, it really just kind of really just helped me to understand myself more as well. And so, now as an instructor, I find it interesting that I've had to kind of reflect back on my past experiences, my childhood experiences, and really what I would identify as being the key components of who I am as a Christian. And then how does that really reflect in my walk still? And I think it's been one of the best papers I've had to write, just because God has really just been walking with me through this process and really just bringing so many creative ideas to me that I'm so excited to really see kind of put into action.
Yeah, I mean, it's really amazing, right? We never really believe that everything we go through, God will use in the future to really bless others and to really, really use it as a testimony. Because when we're going through it and we've gone through it, we think back and we're like, oh my God, I could never talk about this. Like, I could never share this. So how did this benefit my life? And now you're looking back and you're like, wow, all this was preparing me for a bigger purpose and a greater purpose. And I'm sure that now in your career, you face people that are going through the same problems or same situations or somewhat similar backgrounds. And you're able to bless them and minister to them and actually help them, since you've studied mental health, correct?
Correct. I feel that, and I like what you're saying, that I think sometimes when you're in the midst of a storm or a trial, you almost kind of feel maybe upset with God as to why is this happening, God? Why have you set this in front of me, or why am I going through this? Or even if it's a storm that's lasting longer than you would like it to be, you kind of are upset with God in that respect. But then I think what happens is that I'm learning for myself and just from my own trials and tribulations that I've gone through, is that, as you said, definitely, I do believe that God is with you in the midst of the storm, and also that it's for a bigger purpose. And it's almost that when you come out of that storm, you realize this level of strength that you didn't know you had, and you realize just how much more your reliance on God is. A lot of people, when they go through storms, you can go the other way and really blame God or really become cynical, or just very angry at God and cold. But another way to look at it is to really just see that, whatever the situation is, God is still with you, right? It doesn't matter whatever it is. God is still with you. He's still good, and He will see you through this situation. And then when you come out of it, you're going to come out better in some way, whether it's more joy, whether it's more a better sense of who God is. You're just going to come out of it with that, which is an amazing thing to say that you have. So.
Do you believe, like, since you're a mental health counselor, do you believe that we definitely, as human beings, we have the ability to make that choice, whether we stay bitter with God or bitter, or we allow our emotions to rule over us and lead us down that path of bitterness, or we have the choice of just saying, okay, I've got to get over this. I'm going to let this go. I've got to understand this from a different perspective. I've got to take the high road. I've got to be positive. I have to believe that all this is working out for my own good, that God knows better. Do you believe that we have that choice of making that mental decision? Because I know that when you're going through the storm, like you said, it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's hard not to blame God or to wonder why, God, you're allowing me to go through this for so long. and then so you kind of spiral down almost to, you've seen, and we talked about this, how you can fall into depression, you can fall into these mental health situations or illnesses that may come about as a result of that type of mindset. And then getting out of it, it's really even harder. So do you really believe it is a choice, and when should we make that choice? And, and what do you, from your perspective and your experience?
And so, and this is actually, it's a great question. This actually goes to really what I'm writing about in my faith integration paper is that as a counselor, particularly in marriage and family therapy, how does one's faith, how do you bring clients, how do you bring families, couples together and see that, no matter what they're going through, maybe it's an infidelity, maybe it is infertility, maybe, it's the death of a child. How do you kind of make that shift in your mind from seeing this as, oh my gosh, like, whether it's you're blaming God or you're blaming yourself or whoever, you're just upset, right? How do you make that change? And so in marriage and family therapy, we would say, we would oftentimes look at major theorists like narrative therapy, which is very much on that shift that you're talking about, which is basically to you have a story that you tell yourself. You have this kind of a belief set, a mindset, right? And you're wanting the client to really shift that level of thinking. You're wanting them to construct a new story. So my story is that, God, why did you do this? Why did you allow this to happen to me? I'm a good person, right? And you want them to shift that mindset to believe that, no, that's not the entire picture. And that, what are those times where you've seen God be amazing, that God has shown up for you, and you want them to almost reestablish their story based on those truths, right? Because a lot of times we have stuck in this one mindset, we have stuck in this one narrative of ourselves. And so helping them to change that mindset, or helping them to see that there's other pieces that maybe they're not paying attention to, maybe that they push down. Right, we've had good opportunities where God has opened doors for us. We've had times where we were just in such joy and feeling His hand be upon us. But sometimes we get kind of in those places where we feel stuck, we feel alone, and it's like, this is all I can see. But helping people to kind of get back to that place of no. Remember when this happened, or remember when He was faithful in this area. That is still possible for you now. And so helping them to shape or to shift that narrative that they're telling themselves. Another tool of another therapy model is cognitive behavioral therapy. It's very, very popular, and cognitive behavioral therapy is all about that. It's all about kind of changing your thoughts that you have, and then so changing your actions. What are you going to do? And so again, a lot of what we're talking about with counseling is helping clients to really first of all, acknowledge, and it's not to downplay what you're going through is not important. It's not tough. I mean, if you're working with a client and they're telling you that they have lost a child, it's not to say that their bitterness or their anger isn't really valid. It's true. Right. It's very hard to experience that, and it's very understandable to be mad at God, but right. It's to help them to see that, as you're saying, staying in that place of bitterness, of anger is not productive. It's not going to help them. So how can they make that move? How can they make that shift into remembering how good God is, or remembering how God is on their side, right? It's helping them to kind of shift along that. And so as counselors, we work with clients and we help them to take their time. We validate that experience, and then we help them to know that that there are better days ahead of them. And so it's a process. It definitely is a process.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Denise. And I'm so excited to know that, there's a lot of therapists and there's a lot of mental health counselors in the field today and in the world. But there's nothing more, I think, valuable and more precious than having somebody like you, who's a Christian, who's a believer in Christ, and also a mental health counselor, who's also, has her degree, who's educated and a professional, because I think we need both. We can't, I've gone in my past, I've seen therapists who don't believe in God. And then after talking to you and another counselor who are Christian, the therapy and the process, it's so different. The conversations are so different. I know that in my experience, I've been able to be liberated from some mindsets, like we were saying, some negative mindsets of some condemnation that I have been carrying around for many years. But after talking to a Christian counselor, they were able to help me be set free. Yeah. And so I'm grateful that you are integrating your faith with your career, and that God is using you in such a powerful way, because we need more counselors like you. We definitely do. And from your experience, I mean, how is this fulfilling? Because not all of us get the blessing of being able to do a career that we're happy with, or that we're fulfilling the will of God. But if you can tell me how fulfilling it is for you, and how God is using you in a powerful way right now.
Well, I think in one of the things that I'm coming to see is integration is it's becoming closer with God, in a sense that God just kind of he flows out of you, right? It's almost kind of like, it's like in every interaction. So we're just, I see these two friends, we're just kind of chatting, and it's so incredible for us to have this opportunity where we're just chatting about God and how good he is. But also people we may be, sowing a seed. Others may be watching this and like, oh my gosh, you're talking about God. Oh my goodness, this is incredible, right? And so I think one of the things that's really important for me is that I'm realizing that it doesn't matter what your platform is. You can be a professor, you can be a student, you can be a child, like my own. I have a 2-year-old who's probably come here. You can be whoever, and really just knowing that God is in your life, and knowing that can't be hidden, right? The Bible talks about what is the importance of just like hiding it under a bushel or something, but it needs to be something that you're able to express to others. Your life and your words, all of that. So it just comes out. And so I think being mindful of just really, it doesn't matter where you are, what a profession you're in, you can be an example. You can integrate your faith into your daily walk, or your just everything that you do. And so it's not a matter of, having to be at a certain level of status. It's more of just kind of like, this is how I am. And so I think one of the things that's so awesome for me is just that kind of getting that awareness of, God, you're working in me, and I can't hold it back. I want to share it with others. And so it just happens that I'm an instructor, and I get to, pronounce it to my students. But I, even just in my interactions with friends, I'm doing it as well. And so I think that's just important, is that we're doing it all the time.
It's true. Because I was thinking of this verse in the Bible that came to me before we started. It was Acts 17:28, where it says, "In him we live and move and have our being." Everything we do is all about God. Everything. And it's such a blessing to be able to constantly, just always, like you said, have God in us so much that it just comes out in everything we do. We can't hold it back, right? I mean, even like me, I work with doing makeup for other women, and I just get so excited, and I'm like doing their makeup, and when I'm making them feel beautiful, I almost come to tears, because it's like I see their reaction, I see their change in their complexion, and it's nothing more fulfilling than to see a woman who has scars in her face, who has blemishes, who has such bags and dark circles under her eyes that she has no idea what she really should look like in real life. And what her skin look with no blemishes. And once we cover that up and she sees herself in the mirror, she's almost in shock. Her eyes open up. And it's such a blessing. And I tell her, you are beautiful. No matter what, you are beautiful. And, you don't rely so much on the physical. God made you beautiful no matter what. And in that moment, my job may not be, so really glamorous at that moment. But at that moment, it's so fulfilling, because I changed a woman's life. I blessed her that day. And you're right. We can definitely integrate our faith and our Christian walk into whatever we do at all times with whomever we are, talking to and interacting with. I think
I also think it's not necessarily integrating in terms of, bringing in Bible scriptures. You can do that. That's definitely one way. But just what you're saying, it can just be your love for helping others. It could just be generosity, right? When I taught at a secular institution, I would have students come up to me and just, I don't know how they knew, but they just knew that I was a Christian, and they would say, I'm just curious about this. Can you tell me about this? And just even that opportunity, again, I wasn't professing my faith or anything in that context, but they saw something within me. They saw something. And I honestly believe that as you grow closer to God, that does you, again, it's like you can't hide it, right? But also it just kind of flows out of you, that people, they see something different. Again, we're set apart. And so they, that draws people in. And it's almost like you kind of hook them in and you're like, okay, now I've got you. I can tell you about God. I can tell you about his goodness, right? But obviously, the word is gonna change people's lives, but also knowing just you being you, in your whatever context you are in, know that you can be integrating your faith. You're a disciple right where you are. It doesn't matter where you are, you're a disciple right there, and you're doing God's will. So that's incredible. It's incredible to know.
Well, thank you so much, honey, for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking time out from your family and your vacation. And I really so proud of you. Thank you for the work that you do and for your work in the Lord and for allowing God to use you in a powerful way, because you've been a blessing to me and you definitely are being a blessing to the world. And so I want to thank my audience for joining us today, and sorry for any technical difficulty, but thank you so much for joining us. And Denise, love you. And enjoy your day. God bless.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
God bless. Bye-bye.